Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to be talking a little bit today about the attitude, the mindset that we need for recovery. So I posted on the stories a post that was done by this sort of motivational life coach guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, and it was a post of showing sort of our attitudes. And then I obviously adjusted that picture to show the different attitudes towards recovery. Now, these attitudes I see all the time with people who are trying to get better from OCD. And what happens is you have various mindsets, and these are this. First one is people that have the attitude, do you know what? I can do my recovery tomorrow. I've got things on. I'm busy. I've got things to do. Now, got things to do and busy is the one that you see all the time. I specifically see it in mums and students. Students, it's always, I've got too much on. I've got too many lectures. I've got things to do. I've got no time for OCD. If you don't make time for OCD, OCD is going to make time for you, and then all your plans will go out the window. So you've got to make time for OCD. Two is in regards to mums with babies, young babies or kids. Problem there is that you get the same situation. I'm too busy, I've got to pick people up, I've got to do different things, I haven't got time. There is always time. Even if you are the CEO of the biggest company in the world, there's time. Why? Because if you had cancer, you'd find time to get straight into chemo. Now that sounds bleak and that sounds harsh, but it's reality. It is reality. There is times. There's always time. It's priority. Same with people who say, I haven't got time to see you, whatever. They're not making it a priority. If it's a priority, everyone can. So you have to make OCD a priority. So the first option where people are saying, I haven't got time, I'm too busy, I don't want to do those exposures, too much effort, OCD is going to make time for you. If you don't make time, it's going to take over the structure of your life. You don't get better. The other one, option two, which can tie in with depression. But what tends to be causing the depression is that perspective on life in general, anyway, and that is that. I can't be bothered, I've tried already, I don't want to put any more effort into trying to get better, it's too much hard work, it's too much trouble, it hasn't worked for me before, I'll forget it anyway. You've just shut the doors on all hope. It's like someone who's set up a business, it's gone down, they've set up another business, it's gone down, they never set up another business again. That is so many people in so many areas of life, sport, business, relationships, especially relationships. I've been out with too many different people that I didn't like. Oh, they're all like that, I'm never going to date again. It's shutting the door on everything. It's to stop you initially it's to stop you getting hurt again, but then it takes over all your life and it shuts off all hope. So you need to really watch these attitudes. The ones that shut all doors, they are trouble. The ones that say there's no hope, I've tried things. Do you know how many people come to me with OCD that have been to how many therapists on average? Most people have been on average to about 7 to 8 therapists. I've been to about 7 to 8 therapists. 90% of people do not understand OCD. More, 99% of people, 99.9% of people do not understand OCD fully. Okay, in order to get people recovered. So you can imagine how many doors have to shut before you get better. And that's the same in anything. 90% of businesses close down. 95% of businesses close down in the first year or within the first 3 years. Life is all about persistence. Most people do not persist because it takes time and energy and effort, so they give up. If people persisted more, everything would be different, but people don't. When it gets discomfort and they feel more of it, they put the 2 and 2 together and go, because I've felt discomfort already and discomfort again, there's no point going anymore. When just round the corner could be the change. The second one is, I'm going to recover, I'm going to put in the work and practice and persist, I really want to do this. It might take me a long time. It might take a lot of hard work, but I'm going to do this. That's the second one. The second one is the attitude you want with everything. It's an attitude that you need for OCD. Because OCD is chronic, OCD is constantly going on you. Because it's constantly on your back, you need to be constantly going in the right direction. So first one is I haven't got time. Third one is there's no hope. I've tried before, I'm never going to try again, I'm not going to do anything. Those lead not to recovery. Those attitudes you see time and time again in forums. You see them all day long. People saying, I've tried, I haven't done this. Mine's worse than yours, I've got this. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Whether you're so anxious you can't get out of bed, whether you've got PTSD as well, you've got panic disorder, you've got GAD, you've got depression, you have got to get behind you. Because you do not want to spend looking at your life 50 years from now and go, oh, I had all these excuses. Yeah, mine was different because I had this. Oh, mine was different because I had that. You are you. You've got you. The only option is getting you going and better. So whatever you've got, you have got to get behind you and do the best to get you better. Because otherwise you're going to be in the same position every single day, the same position. So I want you really to think about that. Think of the attitude. You know, you can't, if you don't change your perspective and your attitude to how you are approaching OCD recovery, then you're going to stay in the same position. If I sit on this couch and do no reading, I do nothing to no exposures, and I've got, say, very bad OCD and I can't barely function, there's nothing going to happen. You're going to be in the same position. You have to make change. If you don't make change, nothing happens. It's like Steve Jobs used to say, that with our lives, we've got to reach out and make massive change in our lives in different areas to make things happen. And we can all do that. But without change, nothing happens. People do such small things. They focus on so small changes that they don't make the big changes. You've got to make significant change. Now, obviously, when you are moving, then you don't have to keep making massive change all the time. You've got to just follow out what you're doing. But otherwise, people take two small steps. They think, okay, I'll just read a little bit of this book. I'm not getting out my comfort zone. Well, you're not going to get better. You have to get into the discomfort. That doesn't mean throwing yourself into it all in one go. You build up. But far too often, people want to stay behind the computer, reading safely, comfy, nestled in a bed with a laptop on your stomach. That ain't where recovery happens. Recovery happens by getting out and getting into discomfort, building a life structure that's healthy, outward going, seeing people, socializing, exercising, all the healthy things that we need to do, not the unhealthy, comfortable. Humans are too obsessed with comfort, ridiculous obsession with comfort. Everything is sold to us based on comfort. You know, everything we see in every advert is sold on comfort. You have to get out of that idea that it's comfort. People think, oh, when I'm successful, I'll buy a nice, comfortable house with a nice, comfortable car in a nice, comfortable place. That doesn't keep prolonging success in whatever you're doing. You've got to keep putting yourself into that sort of so-called war zone, into that area where there's going to be change and things that are going to happen. You've got to throw yourself into the eye of the storm. That is life. If you stop doing that, you're just stable. You're just plateauing and going along in anything. That's in OCD, that's in sport, that's in relationships, in business. If you have a relationship and you're going along in it and you're carrying on and you're not making any change, not doing anything new with them, not making anything, it's going to get boring. People are going to get bored. I see it all day long. People coming to me, oh, I don't know what's happening in my relationship. It's not going well. You look at the energy being put in from both partners, there's zero. Zero in the relationship, zero in the sex life, zero in the social life, zero in the holidays. Oh, my work is too busy. Then come home, no energy for the relationship. Same with OCD. My school is too busy. I've got no energy for my OCD. Oh, my job is too busy. I've got no energy for my OCD. It is the key problem in all life. You have to put energy into things to get a return. If you put zero, you don't get a return. All right, if you're watching a film, you don't need to put in energy. But if you're doing that all day long, life's going to get boring. So it's very, very important that we think about our OCD recovery like this. Okay? And you've got to have a balance. If that's your situation, then you need to also do the relaxing better. Okay? That's an important thing too. Because if you're not doing the relaxing part as well, and you're just constantly working, constantly doing exposures, constantly doing things, I can fall into that trap. Working too much, working too late, different things. I have to say to myself, right, you've got to slow down. And I do that, and then I do the opposite, and then I do a lot of slowing down and a lot of relaxing. So I have to get a balance, like all humans. You're not going to meet anyone who's talking, whoever they are, life coach, number one life coaches in the world or whatever, where they tell you, trust me, they don't get the balance right all the time. It's bullshit. They get the balance wrong too. Humans are fallible. They make mistakes. Things go wrong. That's what humans do. So humans can have all of this stuff happen. Let's have a look at these questions, see if there's any today. And if there are any you want to ask them now. How do you stop reassurance? Well, the best way to stop reassurance is to have a really strong look at things. Look at your situation and think, well, I really don't want to be in this same situation in the future. I want to do everything to not be in this situation. Okay? So because of that, it's very important that you then make a change to stop reassuring. It's like getting motivated. People can think about doing something. Maybe they can think about anything. Maybe it's booking a holiday, or might be ending a relationship that they really dislike, or not in relation to our OCD. These situations, you build up, you think, and then there's action. Okay? Now, let me highlight not in relation to our OCD. It's not the situation. So you have to take action. Okay, at times we have to take action, and reassurance, it needs action taken. You need to say, I am not doing this anymore. This isn't working. I've never got better this way. I'm never going to get better this way. I'm going to be stuck in the same cycle this way, ongoing, non-stop, like that. Okay, so it's very, very, very important that if we're getting into that position, that we if we're getting into that position over and over again with reassurance, that we take a strong look at it and go, wait a minute, this has never worked. This hasn't worked in months. This hasn't worked in years. Why on earth am I going to think this is going to work this week? That is the key behind reassurance. Now, you might not be able to stop it suddenly, but you've got to build up, and you want to be building up at a pretty good pace. POCD has traumatized me completely. I don't work, and it's to the point where I can't picture life being normal. This is the worst pain ever. One, it is not the worst pain ever. There would be worse pains. You can still do everything with POCD. As traumatic and as anxious and everything you feel, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it will be challenging. I'm saying it will be difficult. But I know you can walk. I know you can breathe. I know you can get out the house. I know you can do all these things. But we've got to build up to doing it, bringing it for the ride, whilst changing your perspective of POCD. When we're terrified of POCD and it being real and so on, unless we change the fear there, which is what we work on in coaching to bring that down, it can be difficult to do these things and move on with life. But we can still do it. We just need to do it. But it takes practice. That's what the coaching is all about. Support from others, maybe in a group or so on. But it is doable. You can do it. Many, many people with POCD. POCD is the most common. What to do if I have to do it all alone, as there are no qualified therapists in my country? Well, the fact you're reading this page means that you've got access to material that wasn't available to people 500 years ago. So that's already a good start. You can attend the group coaching via Skype, which is a sort of more affordable way to get into coaching, reach anywhere in the world pretty much. So that's a good place you can go to. Otherwise, you've got the free Facebook support group that I run, and you've got this page, and you've got so many material available to you that people didn't have in the past. So there's a lot of options there. I think as a finishing note today, I want you just to think every day is the start of life, in the sense that the whole past is dead, gone. Past is gone. There is no more past, gone. Okay, that's happened. Right now, we can take action on things. We can do things. We can make change. We can change and direct our life today, but people don't, because they follow the pattern of every other day, getting comfortable with the position of the day before, and they do not take action right now. Because it's easy to see that every day was like the day before, and so on, but it isn't. Today is the first of the new days. It needs to be done. Okay, let's have a look at some of these final questions. How can you have unconditional acceptance for OCD thoughts about harming your children? Unconditional self-acceptance says exactly what it says on the tin, unconditional. The act is wrong. We do not like the act, whether it's killing, whether it's torture, whether it's anything. We do not like the act. The act is a wrong act. But the human is still intact. The human still has value for just being alive and human. The human isn't finished, written off. The human can rehabilitate. The human can change. Humans do things because of a combination of biology, genetic factors, environmental factors, family, growing up. When you have someone that's been sexually abused from the age of 5 and they've been beaten and then they've had brain chemistry, they've come into this world that's given them a disadvantage, you can see how people got into those positions. In the words of Albert Ellis, any one of us would probably act exactly the same as the most horrendous criminals we can imagine had we had their upbringing and their brain chemistry and genetics. So it's not as simple as just people are wrong, bad, evil, and these people are good, heroic, and whatever. The other people that we look at and say, oh, they're heroic, they've done such and such, achieved such and such, and the others are wicked. Humans aren't as simplistic as that. The self is an ever-changing process made up of many parts, not identified by one action. If I'm angry now, I'm not an angry person. I'm a human who's behaving angrily now. And that difference is the key towards unconditional self-acceptance, which you will learn through the reading on the reading list, as well as through the coaching, which I direct it in a way to help you really understand it specific to OCD fears. Right, guys. Great to speak to you all here today on this Instagram Live. I will be back on soon, trying to get these up every couple of days, and I will see you then. All right, guys, see you later.